Boom, boom,
your
boom, boom,
Manosphere
boom.
today. I'm Evan Mastronardi, long-standing commentator of these things without an income, and I'm here with my good friend
Olivier Olivier Kersey.
Olivier
That's it.
Kersey, and neither of us have been paid to do this type of commentary. We're still
Nope.
looking for a sponsor, but you know
Hmm.
who does get sponsors? The Taters.
I don't think they can get it now because they're aren't they basically
Eh,
almost going to jail? Aren't they almost going to jail?
jail never stops sponsorship.
You know what? Fair enough.
Jail never stops sponsorship. They're gonna continue getting money while they're behind bars, and we're gonna continue not getting money for now while we're perfectly in front of a computer. So hopefully, y'all at Absolutely Nothing can hopefully change that. All right,
Mm.
open to sponsorships. That ship has not sailed. It is waiting for a sponsor to lead that ship.
Toot toot.
Toot toot, motherfuckers, toot toot. As you see, alternatives need funding, but we're gonna get to it. Um, I saw today something interesting. I saw someone comment this guy Terry Real. He's been mentioned in Bell Hooks' work as and he is someone who makes content based on masculinity. He's been doing it for a long time, long before social media. But he started a page, and he made a comment on a scene from Inside the Manosphere, which we watched, and it's a scene where a guy comes up to Louis Theroux comes up to one of the guys that follows um, what's his name, just Justin Waller. Yes,
Waller Wheeler is a W.
yeah, and asks why he follows him, he supports him, and the guy says, "Well, it gives me purpose, value, direction." You know, a lot of men. He says, "No, I love the guy." He even says, and he says, "Men." And Waller is one of the few guys who will actually use the word love towards other
Mm-hmm.
men
Mm-hmm.
who follow him, who support him. And
Yeah.
he said, you know, a lot of us men feel like we're born inherently without value and worth.
Yeah.
And Waller also said that too, not just this man.
Yeah.
And Thoreau never really dissected that much, and that was one of my disappointments. And then I was disappointed to see Terry Real, I forgot if it says Real or Real, but I think his last name is Real. Um, a guy who I hadn't read his work much beyond Bell Hooks's citations of it, but it seemed quite thoughtful. And
Mm-hmm.
he seems to be a thoughtful guy, and he's a professional who has been doing this work with men for a while, and you know, a psychological, academic component as well. So he's like educated, and he says, "Oh no, that's bullshit. You know, that's nonsense. Everyone has value. Everyone's human." And he gave it a very, very like a generalized response, and I was very
Mm-hmm.
disappointed to see that. And I kind of want to go into this larger problem that I have with a lot of the takes and the interpretations of men's uh, gripes and concerns and feelings, which is and it was a lot of the responses to the documentary were like this in the documentary itself. It didn't really go through the layer, the top layer. So sure, if you hear "I have no worth, men have no worth," it sounds like an extreme statement.
Yeah.
It's not silly, but why do you think someone thinks that? Where does that come from? As Joshua and I like to say, uh, if you've seen our live recently from the Men's Liberated live, Joshua, who I do those with, but like, who taught you that?
Mm-hmm.
Who taught you? And you're a teacher, Olivier. I'm a teacher. When kids learn things, Now, these aren't kids, these are adults. But when kids learn things, it's always kind of interesting. Like, who taught you that? Where did you learn that?
Hmm.
And this wasn't really interrogated. This wasn't really asked. And that's for this question. That would have been the first thing I asked. It would have been like, where did you first hear or understand or think that as a man you have no inherent worth and value, that it is something that you must prove? Where do you think they would hear and interpret that? So I was disappointed that wasn't uh, addressed by someone who I thought was a lot more thoughtful.
I mean, I think I got a couple of questions. I guess my first question is, one, I guess, kind of how old is this person?
He's like 70 some, 60
Okay,
some.
70, 60 something. Um, my personal theory is that when people are smart enough or dumb enough, right, and we get stuck in our own echo chamber, we start to believe whatever it is, negative or positive. So what I mean to say is the fact that we all do this. We all look at the world from our own anecdotal vantage point, our own little speck of the world. What I'm trying to say is, I think for him, he sees himself have value, so therefore automatically he says like, "All men have value," 'cause that's kind of what he sees himself as, right? Like that.
Hmm.
That's almost like his default thinking. I don't know how long he's been doing it for. I'm gonna say arguably maybe since 20. So if he's like 70, so 50 years thinking that he has value to some degree. So I'm trying to say, to me, it makes sense for him to say that.
He's 76.
76. All right, so I'm gonna ballpark it. I said like he's been thinking about this type of thing for since he was 20, so 56 years. That's a lifetime of thinking this one specific thing or fighting this sort of thought process to be told like, hey, you don't have value, but like he has taught himself that he has value. So when he hears these things, he's like, that's just not true. I have value, theoretically speaking. Therefore, other men have value as well, and that is true. Other men do have value. Um, I try to tell my friends that, you know, like, hey, you're not just a paycheck, guys. You're a human being. You have hobbies, you have interests.
Right.
Like, do you like to do stuff? You like listen to music? You like trying to write music? Whatever it is, whatever the thing you like to do, all those is value, right? I enjoy hanging out with you. That's value in and of itself, right? Because for me, we have a shared intimate moment in the sense of it's only the two of us that can create this moment or thing. I can't do this with anybody else. I can't recreate the same thing with somebody else. But um, I don't, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not an intellectual in this field. I'm a walking idiot. That's
But you don't need to be. The point, none of what we're discussing means that you need this is part of the problem. Part of the problem is that a lot of the credentialed people aren't doing the critical thinking, and a lot of the non-credentialed people, and some of the non-credentialed people at least are, and some of the non-credentialed people aren't doing any critical thinking, but are reaching more people than both of us combined. So this is why we need to join forces, not be more separated. Like, I would rather be doing a live with Terry Real and discussing, like, why do you think that, where do you think these messages come from? Like, I'd be very curious to know how much uh and yeah, he is a, he's an actual therapist. This
hmm
is, if you're a therapist, what I think, doctors have to continue getting professional training. Lawyers have to continue getting professional training because new things come out. If you're a lawyer and you have no idea what a Bitcoin is or an NFT is, you're not up to date. It sucks. I'm sure many of people who got into law hate those things, but you have to understand it to some extent. Like, think of a Bitcoin as a stock. Think of it's something that has value, but something you can't hold, and something that can be sold for monetary value. Right? There are things to compare this to. So if I wonder how much this guy knows about. I mean, I'm sure now he knows about the red pill because he watched, the documentary. But you and I have known about red pill, I don't know, since like 2014, 2015. Like, I've known about this shit, you know, for a long time.
yeah.
This is our generation. if you're a therapist who deals with men, who deals with anyone, but especially with men, you need to know these types of things that men are reading, and where they're getting these types of ideas. But the idea that the red pill gives about men not having value, and this is just one iteration of it and one aspect of the manosphere that someone like Justin Waller says, he's not coming up with that. He's actually doing something that's, taking a grain of truth from society, which has for a very long time su- supported the idea that men don't really have a man's inherent value is his labor. A woman's inherent value for a long time is her ability to bear children and nurture children. We weren't really, neither of us are given value just for being here, right? A lot of society doesn't give men or women value just for being here. We're given value for things that we can provide. Women making the home, making a child, being a sexual companion to men, and men bringing home money, protection, providing, not for us just being here. So we've all gotten a certain kind of deal, right? It's not fair to women, it's not fair to men. But speaking about the man's aspect of the deal, what I wish more people would do is zoom out and see, okay, where do we get this idea from? This idea is not some random fantasy. This comes from a long line of men being tied to their labor and men being tied to their capital and what they can provide. This isn't some random thought. And a guy as learned as he is, and as Louis Theroux is, like it's disappointing to me. People can't you know, kind of these are connections that are easily made by someone like myself who is not a therapist, okay, who is not an academic. We need some of these guys to step up a little bit and not look at both of what my criticism of the Manosphere thing, the Manosphere documentary was kind of like, it was just kind of dismissed as like, you know your child comes up to you and says, when children are very young, your child is too young right now, but maybe if you taught younger kids at some point, you probably heard them, you know, make shit up. Like,
Hmm.
there's fucking, I don't know. Hey, Mr. O, there's dinosaurs outside. Billy told me. Are we gonna have to fight dinosaurs today?
Hmm.
And yeah, and then this kid in the back, like fucking, I don't know, Nate in the back is like, yeah, I told Dave he got to fight a Tyrannosaurus Rex, and it's outside waiting for him, and he's got to fight the T Rex. And it's like, yeah, Mr. O, is that true? And you're like, no, there's no fucking dinosaurs anymore. They're all dead. They're extinct. This is how he's talking about this. He's talking about this like it's some weird like, no, you have yeah, but this isn't dinosaurs. This isn't Jurassic Park. This is actual shit that has a basis. This isn't some fantasy. This is a basis that many men, especially working class men, poor men, have felt that once they lose that job, right? What do I offer? What do I have? Once I can't provide, what's left? What is what my mom looks for me, my sisters look for me, a potential wife? What would she look in like if I don't have this, I'm nothing. That is a real thought that comes from real places. So it annoys me when people kind of disregard it like they're talking about fucking pterodactyls.
Listen, I completely understand and agree with what you're saying here. Um, I think I want to maybe bring up sort of like an analogy or a thought process to this, all right? And I know this analogy isn't perfect, but I use it with my students. I use it with a lot of people, especially for me teaching. Evan, would you be mad at a dog for being a dog?
Right. You say that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
No, I wouldn't get mad at me. I wouldn't, but some people do.
some people would,
I
right?
see it all the time.
But like majority of people wouldn't be mad at a dog for literally being a dog. So in the same way, in the sense of like certain academics or whoever they should be stepping up. For me personally, I'm not mad at them for being themselves, right? Especially in the case of what's his guy's name? What we
Terry
talk
Real.
Terry Rio, right? Again, he is 76, right? So he's born in what, 1950, right? 1950. He
Yes.
grew, he grew up he grew up in a time before the internet. He grew up in a time where theoretically men, excuse me, men for the most part physically made or did something, and they always could physically do something to create something. They always had some sort of value. So for him, his concept of maybe the manosphere is so foreign, he's so distant from it. To me, it's kind of like this. To me, I'm kind of like this. Kind of, I'm not saying there's no point at all. I'm just saying for me, I'm just kind of like I wouldn't be upset at him. I'm not upset at him. He maybe he can talk to people his age and his range group, right? Is it possible for him to reach the younger population? Probably not. Based off of age, culture difference, technological. There's multiple layers between him and like someone who's 20 years old right now. But you, myself, the guys on Jam, I'm throwing like FD Signifier, right? All those guys who are on the internet and they understand the manosphere and how to even play the game or even challenge the manosphere in an effective manner. I think, for at least for the younger generation, when I say younger, I mean like age 21 and younger. I'm just ballparking here. Um, I think we can all offer a literally better alternative, a better voice than I'm sorry, I can forget this guy's name.
Terry.
Terry. Thank you.
Terry Real.
I'm gonna keep calling. I'm gonna call him Terry. But yeah, then just Terry. Um, Maybe Terry can talk to the academia people, right, and have them band together some way, some form, or maybe he could be someone who just funds them. Like if in my mind, again, like we talked about this before, it is some sort of war, some sort of battle. We all have different roles, different ways to fight this thing. Maybe Terry's more like an advisor or a general in this case, right? It's like he believes that men have value. All right, Terry, how do men have built a value from your time being? Maybe that still applies to some men today. I don't know. That's a possibility. Um, uh,
They do, I mean, they do have value, and like we all have value. It's not about whether or not we do or don't. It's about where the idea comes from and diminishing the idea, right? It's like that's why I'm saying the difference between you know the dinosaurs existing, the Tooth
mm-hmm.
Fairy, Santa Claus, like all these fantasies that are nonsense, and someone actually saying, "Oh, um, I'm stupid because Miss so and so said I was stupid." Okay, you're not stupid, but you got this from somewhere, right? So let's speak to that teacher. Fellow teacher, why would you call this child stupid? Right? Like he got that idea from somewhere that
Mm-hmm.
really happened. He's still not stupid. He's child still a child can have learning disabilities. A child can have trouble.
Yeah.
A child should never accept they are stupid. That is not something for a child to accept. It doesn't. It's never like, oh, has the child accepted they're stupid yet? It's like that's never a thing for them to do. Okay, so yes, these things come from a place. I think what bothers me is that he didn't, it's kind of lazy. And with academics, the thing that I hope from them, good academics, not like fake academics, but like, legitimate ones are not like Jordan Peterson, who's clearly has an agenda. Like actual ones that are serious, I never expect them to be lazy. To me, this was lazy. It was very easy to get a better take on this and understand it, and that's what bothers me about. And same thing with Louis Theroux. To me, some of the analysis was lazy. It now I you said you can't make a documentary for everyone, and I agree. You can't
Yeah.
make a documentary for everyone, but even then, even as a general like children's book, my cat saying I'm being lazy by not doing enough for him. Even as a general children's book level understanding of something, to me, it still was lazy because it didn't talk about the foundation. It only talked about the tip of the iceberg. It's like saying, the Titanic crashed. Well, why did it crash? I don't know. It just hit an ice, like it just did. We didn't talk
Mm-hmm.
about like how the structure led to it crashing, how maybe it could have been steered differently, how this, we just said it crashed. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, these guys are saying wild shit. Well, how did they get to the point of saying wild shit? I don't know. Why are they so rich? People like them. It's like, it's not enough. We need to talk about how we got here, and how and why men are so captivated by this. Andrew Tate 20 years ago doesn't have the same clout he does now. Andrew Tate 20 years ago would be like some lunatic on Fox Radio, maybe Fox News,
Maybe Rush
talking
Limbaugh.
about the disintegration of masculinity and feminization of man, and how we need to man up. And Bill O'Reilly would then say, "Okay, great job, Andrew. I agree with you," and we'd
Fuck
go
it, we
back to
do it
our
live.
lives. But what?
I said, fuck it, we do it live.
Fuck who live?
So there was a video, a recording of Bill O'Reilly where he was getting upset about like the prompter not working or whatever, and it was on live TV. He said, "Fuck it, we do it live."
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Nah, he had a
yeah.
notoriously horrible temper.
Oh yeah.
Horrible temper.
There was lots of sexual
But
assaults,
my
but
point is, it wouldn't have the legs that it has now. It wouldn't have it wouldn't be able to spread almost like a disease. Like think basically these messages are like a disease. It
yeah,
wouldn't be able to spread that like it can now. So there needs to be something deeper as to why this has captivated, thousands, hundreds. I don't even the to what degree the manosphere. How many other men think that they have no inherent value? How many other men would agree with that if asked of them? That's a serious fucking question. If men in their early 20s or younger really think this. So I just kind of like I'm concerned because we like we have a very I agree with you that everyone has their role, but if I'm an older person in this space, I'm curious and I'm trying to learn and I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to think, well, why the question, it shouldn't be like you automatically know this is a new thing. This is well after your time, well after you went into adulthood, fatherhood. I want the older generations to be curious. I want them to try to understand more how men got here, not just look at them like they're silly people to make fun of. If a young man says, "I have no value," we should feel sad for that man. We should feel sad for people who think that. We should want to understand them. Part of the problem is for a lot of young men, they do not find compassion. We are a lot of young men who go to these spaces, they get yelled at, they get shamed, they get like, before we go there, right? We need to at least try to start with compassion. This guy wasn't saying some Andrew Tate shit or some Myron Gaines shit. He wasn't saying like, women shouldn't vote and stay in the house, women bake a cake or whatever, like some wild shit. He said something that's worthy of compassion, but we're already in our minds going, well, he's a part of this man, so we should like shit. It's like, slow your roll. Okay, this is a young man. Why did he come to this idea? Where does it come from? So I think there are many cases where we don't lead with compassion that we should be. Kind of like, to go to something you said, aren't you a good boy? That's leading with compassion to the children you teach, right?
yeah. At least for the first part, at least for the documentary part. I think for someone like yourself and me, like for people who already know, like, okay, let me first start out like this. The purpose of documentaries is technically to educate people about something that they don't know about,
Hmm.
right? So that's theoretically the purpose of documentaries. Like, hey, there's this problem, and we should do something about it, right? Theoretically, um, you know about the manosphere. I know about the manosphere. Honestly, did I learn anything new about these people? No, I didn't learn like I mean, I learned more about like their personal lives, but I didn't learn anything new about their ideologies.
Right.
Um, However, there were like a lot of women in my personal life, right? This is where it goes anecdotal, where they're like, I had no idea about this manosphere stuff, right? And then they're like, but now that I watched the documentary, it makes sense why a lot of the guys that I date or talk to are like this, or believe these things, or say these things,
Hmm.
right? So at least that's the first part. And I think also, and like at least for me, in my opinion, for like education and learning things, I think of it as a kind of like a, I put it as a graph or maybe a quadrant. I don't know which one it is, but either way, it's like how much time you spent learning about this thing and how much do you know. I think, arguably speaking, between the two of us, I think between the two of us, I think you know more about the ministry than I do, honestly speaking. Um, so when I watched the Manosphere documentary, I was kind of like, again, I'm not learning new stuff. I mean, I learned more again about their personal lives, sort of, but like ideology, and it's like I already know this. It's kind of like for some people who watch the P Diddy documentary and they're like, oh, I'm watching to learn new things. You didn't learn nothing new. All the stuff you already knew about it. For people who don't know anything, um, at the same time, I understand your frustration. Be like, hey, how do we do these things? How do we fight this stuff? Absolutely, I get that, but I don't think that was the purpose of the documentary. Um,
Hmm.
and I think the other thing is the part of compassion. Like I try my best to do it with my students and with a lot of men that I talk to and on a daily basis. I'm not gonna lie, man, that shit's tough. That shit is exhausting and tiring, right? Um, in the sense of like trying to build up these young men over and over and over. Not kids. Again, not kids. I'm talking about theoretically like broken men. Men who feel defeated and feel like they're literally alone and nobody cares about them. It takes a lot of effort and energy to bring them back up to a point of being semi-stable or semi-emotionally confident in themselves. They'd be like, you know what, maybe I am pretty alright. I'm pretty it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
You're not their therapist, though.
No, I'm not talking about being a therapist. I just mean like literally just like sometimes being their friend or being like, hey, let's hang out, let's do something, let's go out, let's and they're like, bro, what's the point? No one likes me. This like they are depressed, they're sad. It is hard to carry dead weight, emotional dead weight.
Yeah, but again, you're not the like. Even as their friend, you don't need to take on the. I'm talking about the role to take on,
Mm-hmm.
right? Also, you don't need to take on that role. Do you feel you like you have to also like manage yourself and say, am I taking on a role in this whatever relationship, friendship that is not fair for me?
No, I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm just talking for people in general, not me
Yeah, well,
personally. Yeah,
that
for that.
person, then,
Yeah,
yeah,
that like so yeah. I'm saying for that person or just in general, just be like, hey, we should have more compassion for these people. I'm just like, I understand. I'm just saying that sometimes having compassion for these people gets to a point where you're kind of like, I'm exhausted listening to the
that
same to listen to the
right.
same issue, the same
But
problem.
that's labor. That's emotional
It is.
labor.
It
Emotional
is.
labor and
Yes.
compassion. There's a line there, right, where your compassion goes into emotional labor for someone else.
Yeah.
I agree that it can be exhausting, but compassion is something you start with. It's
Oh no.
not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Completely agree.
My point is to lead with it. It doesn't mean that you're going to constantly have compassion, energy for compassion every single moment. This person is a therapist. This person has a platform that neither of us have.
Hmm.
This person with the Spider-Man, I'll always go to it. Great power comes great responsibility, and I still got to see
Agree.
Spider-Man. I was supposed to see Spider-Man today, but I didn't get a chance.
I'm
I
gonna see it
especially
next
want to
weekend.
support short king relationships, but it's which is a side note we'll get to for the second half. But
I was gonna say
anyway,
also. I mean, yeah, we could talk about it later, but
yeah. Anyway, um, if you if you have as your as one of the reasons you're famous something that has supposed to have compassion and intricacy and nuance, empathy, baked into it. I
Hmm.
expect more. Just like I expected more of Louis Theroux,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
expect
yeah.
more of him, and I expect more of a lot of people. But anyway, let's move on to so lately in our social media feeds, I rarely give a flying fuck with celebrities about who's dating who.
Okay.
Um, but I am. It is nice to see the short king get their due a little bit
He's not
with
even short. Are you
Tom and
talking?
Zendaya.
You're talking about Tom? Yeah, Tom is not short, technically speaking.
He is short compared to the average American. Look,
I mean,
nothing is mathematically like sensical in this country.
yeah,
Okay,
I'm gonna look it
so
up.
he's like 5'6". He's like a little taller than me, or 5'6", 5'7". He's a little taller than me. For me, once you start getting under 5'7", is where we get the actual problems with men height and dating. If you're 5'7" and over, I don't really want to hear it. So he's kind of on the border there. But regardless, it's not really about that as much as it is just the concept of a man who is visibly shorter, not just like
Oh,
a
oh,
hair
yeah, yeah, yeah.
not just a hair shorter, but like visibly shorter, especially when his girl wears high heels and she's extra tall queen like
Hmm.
Zendaya is. Um, I do like seeing that. Now, what I don't like seeing is commentary of such across our social feeds. It's like, see, height doesn't matter. It's like
Um,
it's such a
uh,
straw, like the concept straw man argument. It's just
yeah.
like take one exception example and say it doesn't matter. Come on, we're smarter than that, right?
No, we're
If we
not.
don't think,
No, we're not. I,
we're not. But
you are. I am. As a society,
yeah,
we're not.
but it bothers me when people who are okay. Let me rephrase that.
I'm sorry.
It bothers me when people who are smart with other things, or who purport to be liberal, leftist, and smart with other things, then do that. Because it's like, oh, it was only when it was convenient for you do you exercise critical thinking. Listen, for some women, thankfully, it doesn't matter as much. For Zendaya being one of them, and she's famous, and she could date any man that she wants. I don't like saying that. She could date anyway, but you know what the
Yeah,
point is,
yeah,
that
I
she
get it.
has many men who are there's many men who's interested in her, and and there's many men interested in men too, and women interested in Tom Holland. And I also like that it showed that he did ballet when he was younger, which I did a little ballet when I didn't do it like studying ballet. It's that I did theater, and they wanted us to do ballet as part of doing theater when we were younger.
Okay.
So I did too. I did like I did. I was like I had GI Joes and Barbies. I had fake guns. I was just like I never gave a shit. I never gave a shit. I was like I'll wear pink. I'll wear Tim's. It didn't matter to me. But I'm like a unicorn in that sense.
Hmm.
Um, Also, Cameron was wearing pink too around that time. So like,
I mean,
it's different.
pink used to be a quote unquote boy color in like 1920s, 1930s in
Well,
fashion.
way back in the day it was, but
So
but it's also a pimp color. So I
yeah,
mean,
I'm just yeah.
there's the famous photo of Cameron wearing like pink and purple fuzzy shit from Dipset on the cover of anyway with the phone. But anyway, point being, I do like it showing, kind of showing up some of these guys in the Manosphere and Red Pill. But here's my thing, and I say the same thing about Prince, who I love. There are Tom Hollands and Princes in our day to day lives that we completely like. I've been one. I'm speaking from experience.
Hmm.
They're like we completely overshoot and then just focus on. It's like, wow, if it's nice to see this get so much attention, how about the people who aren't rich and who aren't famous and who aren't Spider-Man and
Yeah.
who are trying to dress differently, be different kinds of men? Like, where was that? And I think that's what kind of bothers me is that it's the I think images like this, just like artists like Prince and Bad Bunny, I think they do have a positive impact on society and masculinity. But I still think that we have a long way to go to kind of take those messages in our everyday lives and kind of think, well, wait, why am I only accepting this, lauding this, saying this is whatever beautiful and normal and all this in
Mm-hmm.
here? Why can't? And I'm saying this to the men too. Like, go ask the tall girl out, Short King. Like if if we want certain gender dynamics to change, they're not going to change for us. We have to do it in our day to day lives. We each are a
Yeah.
little piece of that. So I really would like. Oh, I think this one out. Let me see if this one will go back in. FBI Jim got to do something. If it's not the connection, he got to steal the mic.
Gotta do something, man.
Got to do something.
I mean, I could sit here. You
But
perfectly fine.
okay, good. Yeah, this one's working. But I don't like kind of this laziness, kind of logic looking at. Okay, see, this isn't as much of a problem. I I still, as a short man, know it is a problem. I know that it has been like a disqualifier in many cases, and that it's openly, discussed as something that is like almost makes someone not dateable. And we do need to change that because it does come from patriarchy. The men don't just blame women for this. This comes from the idea of men being bigger and stronger and providers, and women
Mm-hmm.
believing that idea.
Mm-hmm. First, I did some little light research. So, at least the height of Tom
Mhm.
Holland, what I've seen, it's a range. The shortest I have on report is 5 foot 6.5. The tallest is 5 foot 8. Right, and the average American height is between 5 foot 8 to 5 foot 9. That's the average American height. I think the average worldwide height is like
Oh, the
five.
average global height is 5'8". The average American height is
It's like
about
five
5'10".
nine. Let me see. Let me see.
And Tom Holland has admitted he's 5'6.5".
Oh, there you go. Global height. Let's look it up. Yeah, the global height, like for all the men in the world, or the majority of men in the world, is 5 foot 7, right? And I was talking to my cousin the other day, like the men and the women who are so fixated, hyper focused on physical features or physical attributes or physical looks of other people are chronically online. So much so that they probably can't even see real life. Because again, social media is not real life, and real life is not social media. If you go outside, like if you go to the mall, if it's open, if there's a mall near you, right, and you walk around and look at the couples, for the most part, the guys are like 5'6", 5'4", 5'9",
Well, I
right?
wish 5'4", but yes, they're
Right, but
not.
like
They're not 6 feet. They're not
they're
six
not
feet.
6 feet, right? I mean, also it depends on like what area
There
you're
is
in.
there is no six
Yeah,
foot rule because math
yeah, right, and
doesn't.
I
It
think
wouldn't work.
I think in the world population, like men who are 6 feet tall is like 2% of the
Yeah.
entire world.
No, there isn't. It's not
So it's
about
yeah,
height is part of it, but it's not 6 feet. It's a notion of. But go on first. Yeah.
yeah. So there's that, what I think is a lot of times like the social media people, like the girls or the women who say these things. I need a man who's 6 foot, I mean 6 figures, whatever. Like, think about it. They're getting paid to say these things, right? So therefore, think so. Their incentive is to say something to make men or women feel insecure about their partners or about themselves individually. That's their job, and they're gonna keep doing it because we give them money to do that. LeBron James keeps playing basketball because he gets paid. He loves basketball, of course, but like he gets paid to play basketball, right? He gets paid lots of money to keep playing basketball. If LeBron James was offered, I don't know, to talk all day at the same rate or the same scale he does for basketball, he would probably do that business wise. So from a business perspective, for those who are doing social media, they're gonna say the most wild, raunchiest, craziest thing to make people feel upset, right? And then people take their emotions. Again, it's why facts doesn't matter. People care about their individual feelings. I feel inadequate. I don't feel like I'm good enough. My boyfriend isn't tall enough because this girl who I think is really pretty, and she has a boyfriend who's 6 feet or whatever it is. She has a perfect life. She has more options than I do. She has technically more agency than I do. She has more accessibility to more men than I do. Like there's so many, we don't critically think about it. We don't. I get caught up sometimes, and I'm married, right? So one time I was watching a woman talk about something about her man. I was like, "How did my wife? My wife. That's what matters in my world. My wife. Whatever she says, 9 times out of 10, unless it's about me playing video games, then I don't care. But that's beside the point, right? But going back to Zendaya and Tom Holland, yeah, for them being like the picturesque, being like, "Look, guys, you can do it too." I'm not Tom Holland. I'm not a British actor. I'm not one. He's British, so technically he's a foreigner in America.
Hmm.
He's a famous actor. He has money. He has access.
Hmm.
He's also
Hmm.
very he's also very charismatic. Not everyone has the same charismatic levels.
Well,
We
now we're
don't,
talking about things that you can be, but
yeah,
the first things that you mentioned are like important. Like these aren't. I want to see this be incorporated with normal people. Like I like it personally as a guy because yes, she also has options she can pick with. She's rich too. She
yep,
could pick taller men. But and they do look like a lovely genuine couple. I'm not there. I'm not there half the time. I'm not there 99% of the time.
yep.
All I can do is see their actions so far and yeah, he seems like a decent guy. They really
Yeah, I
seem
hope
to love
so.
each other.
Hmm.
That's great. I I just wish I grew up in a world where that was normalized when I was like 14, and that's normalized among like us poor people walking through Dykeman. Okay, that's it. That's just like that would be great,
You know,
and that's not how I feel.
you know,
But
I,
but
I,
yeah,
I no, no. I would say, I kind of understand the sentiment. Not in a physical sense, but I feel that sentiment in a emotional characteristic aspect. Like me personally, my current like quote unquote like role models, people who I like to look up to is people like J. Cole, people like Childish Gambino, um, Kid Cudi, Lupe Fiasco. Lupe Fiasco and Kid Cudi weren't as popular as cool as it would be today, in my opinion. But like, I think part of it is because of the internet. That's a weird thing. I think part of it is because of the internet, in the sense of like we now have people to be like, do whatever, man. Who cares? At least maybe that's just my hope. But
that's part of the positives of the
positive thing,
internet is
yes.
that there's been more subsets of culture
Mm-hmm.
that have brought people together. So I was listening to Lupe when he released Tilted for Need for Speed back in the
Oof,
day.
oof,
That's a
oof.
throwback, right?
That's a good one.
That's before Kick Push, motherfucker.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, same thing with anime, right? A lot of people that like anime are like, "Oh, now it's cool."
Now, yeah,
Like,
I'm in that same boat. I'm mad because I got bullied for it.
now the bullies got Yu-Gi-Oh shorts on,
Exactly, right. And now everyone's
Yu-Gi-Oh
doing it,
pants.
right? And then on top of that, right? Um, like now you have people like Kim Kardashian, Megan Thee Stallion, be like, yeah, I watch anime.
Oh, shut the.
Now, wait,
I
hold on,
can't
hold
with
on,
this.
hold on. Wait a minute, right? The thing is
Oh,
though, anime is very, very vast and is very, very um. Excuse me, you have lots of options, just like with TV shows. So if they watch the popular animes, they're watching anime by technicality. The popular ones talk about like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon,
I
um,
mean, Sailor Moon
right?
and Dragon Ball Z. Do we really call that? I mean, it is.
It
Pokemon
is.
is on,
Pokemon is also an anime. So is Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? Those are the one that everybody knows about, right?
and
Those are the one that,
Naruto, even though I don't watch it.
yeah, but it's generic. Those are the ones that people generically all know about. And then you have these super subset cultures of anime that no
Mhm.
one knows about. And to me, those are the real anime people. Okay, right? One of my personal favorite animes is Bakuman, and those who know it know it. Those of you who don't know have no idea. I bet you if I told it to Megan Thee Stallion or maybe Kim Kardashian, be like, "Hey, do you watch Bakuman?" You said you watch anime. They're like, "I have no idea."
Yeah.
So there's levels to it, whatever it is. So like technicality, yeah, it's kind of the way I see it's kind of like people who watch the NBA. There are those who watch casually, right? They watch a couple games and they watch the finals, and then that's it. Then you have those who watch every single game of all games and all the stats, and those are the basement dwellers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Those
different
are the
kinds of
basement
fans.
dwellers. Different type of fans. So
No, I
technically,
say
yes,
for basketball, I'm a baseball fan all around. For
yeah.
basketball and football, it's Giants and Knicks. I'm fans of those teams, but I don't know much about the league. I know how
Okay,
the
that's
game
fair.
works.
That's fair.
I know the rules of the game,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know much about the rest of the league, the
You know,
history. I know a little bit about Giants history, a little bit about Knicks history. That's it.
yeah.
Baseball, I'll watch a fucking Washington Nationals game. Like they're not a good team. So I'll watch them play the Pittsburgh Pirates. Okay. So
You said
anyway,
you said Pittsburgh Pirates. I know about Pittsburgh. That's what I know.
yeah. Anyway, what I want to say though, because I want to make this consistently a dating advice podcast too, is that as a shorter man, but this doesn't just apply to short man. This applies to anything that you think society has uh, devalued or makes less interesting. Even let's say you watch anime and like you're a little, or whatever. That's what you're passionate about, and you're self conscious about it. And people are like, nah, that's nerdy. Like we said, nowadays less so. But to be fair, I still don't think it's necessarily something that all women want to talk about.
No.
But my point is, whatever it is, you own it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, own it. Don't like shy away from it.
No.
Don't make it your entire personality either. We talked about that too,
Yeah.
where you
Please
were
don't do
like, I
that.
have a friend whose basketball's their entire personality.
And listen, I
Sorry.
and I and I love that friend. And when we talk about basketball, it's
Yeah, but you're
great.
not dating that friend. We're talking
I'm not.
about dating.
I know, but also even on a friend level, I'm like, can we not talk about basketball today,
Right. So
please?
so like don't make it like y- just accept it. Like, you know, the women who have been interested in me, they have in some way suggested not uh so the women who make height an issue for me, it's like you would be attractive, but there's a but. You're too short, which feels awful because it's like there's nothing I
I,
can do.
I got
But
I
the
got nothing
women
against that. But
who
okay.
have done, who have been very attractive women too, it's that but switches to an
Yes.
and that's whatever it is. Make it an and.
Yeah.
I'm too short. No, no, no. You are this and you're short. I'm too
Yes.
whatever nerdy,
Yep.
and I'm nerdy.
Yep.
And also, nerdy, again, not your whole personality about that
No.
thing. You can like Naruto, uh, One Punch Man, whatever the fuck it is. You
Mm-hmm.
can like any of those and
And
lay it down. You
um,
could lay down the pipe. Okay? Now, don't talk about that on the first date, obviously. I'm not saying be one of these red pill guys that's mad, aggressive, sexual. But the point is, you can have your identity. It's not like being this overtakes other things. One of the few great things about social media now, I always say I think social media is the worst thing to happen to athletes. In some ways, it probably is, but you learn more about them and their life. A lot of these athletes, you learn about the things they like. One of my favorite baseball players, Jazz Chisholm Jr., right? He loves anime. He has anime on his fucking shoes, and it's not just Pokemon. I even forgot which one he likes.
let me look it up. Let me see this.
Look up Jazz Chisholm Jr.
Desmond
and he is
Jr.
yeah
Anime shoes.
he's the freshest, one of the freshest, swaggiest baseball players you'll see. You got
Oh,
chains.
it's One Piece. He got One Piece shoes.
Yeah, one piece shoes. That's right.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. If you're a One Piece fan, that's it's
He
over
is
a
a One Piece
thousand
fan.
episodes. That's
Jazz
over.
Chisholm is a rapper. He's a one. He watches anime. He plays baseball, and he has cats like me. He has a cat. Do it all, baby. It's like this is women. If you own each of those things, there are women out there who will embrace that. The thing that you mentioned about Tom Holland is that yes, if we're just taking away, pretend he's not. If we're taking away the money, if we're taking away and we're looking at Prince, we're taking all these things away that help them, absolutely, that
Yeah.
give them way more options.
Yes.
But the one thing that is consistent that we can have, like you mentioned, I know it's a word that gets overused, but yes, charisma. I believe charisma is confidently presenting yourself in your most authentic self. He Tom Holland wasn't ashamed to do ballet. Then he became Spider Man.
Yeah, which helped him a lot.
Prince was never ashamed to wear what he wore,
Hmm.
right? Even before he was a multimillionaire, he wasn't ashamed of that shit. Okay, he was self conscious about his height. People forget that he didn't just wear heels for fun. He was self conscious, as I
Yeah.
am,
Yeah.
and
I
that's
think.
the reason
Yeah.
I wear shoes with padding in them. That's the reason I wear Tims half the time. I'm
Hmm.
not ashamed, but I do it, and I also incorporate it into my style.
Yeah.
Part of my style. It was part of his style. So you have to own it. Be like, yeah, I do. I am. Okay. But this is the problem that I'm finding that I bring back to like why we have this podcast is this is the real advice. The the fucking like hate all Stacy's whatever the fuck advice you get on the incel pages or like what is the advice exactly from Myron Gaines? Tell her she shouldn't vote.
Oh no, the advice from Iron Game is just hang out with your boys and to be with them because they can make you stay hard because dating women is now gay. Living with women is also gay.
Is
That's
he
the
is he
advice.
one of those guys that supports the gyms that have no women? You know
I
that's a
don't
thing now.
I've heard of like I think the diamond I've heard of the diamond gym. I've heard of that one, but
The
I don't
what
think that
gym?
I think it's called the diamond gym where it's like a whole bunch of men who are working out, a bunch of power lifters working to the hardest highest degree and pushing to the very limit and then beyond.
Mhm.
I don't know about no women. I'm not sure about that.
No, there are men who are creating gyms with no women to have no distractions.
What?
No distractions.
No, no, I just want to.
It's
Okay,
just dudes.
okay. Let me.
Just
Okay,
dudes pumping iron.
hold on, hold on. Let me understand here. So we have grown men who want to go to the gym and work out with other grown men without women there because they quote unquote don't want to be distracted.
Yeah, it's like Catholic school.
If you don't, at least to
When
me, if you don't
well,
want
in
to be
Catholic school,
distracted,
it's like the girls are the distractions. You take them out of the equation.
okay. Remember earlier we were talking about Terry and how I said like like because he's thinking so much in that way that probably when he heard that he's like that makes no sense. That's stupid. I'm not gonna lie to you. At least to me right now, to
No,
me
this
right.
is stupid.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to say here, right? I'm only 32, and for me personally, right, like women being a like a distraction in the sense of like I can't focus or do what I gotta do.
Yeah, but
I'm not I'm not blind. I I look, I acknowledge, move on, do what I gotta do, right? But I'm not gawking. I'm not doing none of that. That's
that's not
too
having
much.
self control.
Yes, yes.
And
I
last
think
time I checked, that was part of being a man was self
yeah,
control.
yeah. I was gonna say, but at least for myself, I think for me. my default for me, my default thought process is when I go to the gym, I'm there to work out.
Right.
That's it. So when I hear someone tell me, "Hey, I'm going to build a gym for just men and no women because I don't want to have distractions," my brain, it literally does not function for me because it just doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense to me. Fundamentally, it does not make sense to me. For someone else, if they explain to me, maybe I'll be like, I understand what you're saying. I don't agree, but I'm not gonna lie to you that right now, my brain's literally going, "Th-
Well, I say, why stop there?
oh
Why
God,
stop there?
oh
You
God."
you got to focus on your macros, right? You got to focus on
Hmm.
your macros. Take the take the women out the restaurant. Okay, no
So,
women in the restaurant.
so you can focus on eating the
Hold up, hold
proteins.
up. You
Oh no,
gotta you gotta restore when you sleep, right? When you sleep, your muscles restore and
yeah,
heal. Why the
yeah.
woman in the bed? Why she in the bed, Olivier?
Because I like to cuddle with her.
Why she in the bed? That's not muscle restoration.
That's, God.
Following my workout, you gotta have that big high protein breakfast, right?
I,
The
I,
fuck you giving breakfast in bed, Evan,
oh,
to a woman?
how
The
far are
fuck
you
I
gonna?
gave that breakfast in bed to that lady
How
that
far are
day.
you gonna go with this? How? That's what I need to know. What else you got
How
here?
you get them macros? How you get to be how do you macro max?
Oh, he said Macromax.
How do you XY chromosome with
XY
the boys
chromosome with the
max?
boys, Max.
How do
Oh
you
man,
max out with them women around, right?
are, are you are you gonna go as far as to build a whole town with just men and there's no women?
Manville, Manville, population only sausage. Solamente longaniza aquí.
Yo, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no. Oh man. Okay.
Can't have no pussy distraction.
Okay. Okay.
That's it.
It's so Wellington and I watch a TV show called Alpha Males. It's a show from Spain. It's called
Oh, you
Muchos
told me about
Alpha.
that. I want to watch that. Yeah,
It
yeah,
is it is the show's hilarious. And to give you a little
yeah.
just to give you a little bit of a snippet to the
Mhm.
future here. So there's four guys, and in the last season they agree to they agree to buy a plot of land and to build this communal place for just the four of them. No women, no relationships, no distractions.
No distraction. Hmm.
Oh, oh, okay. Okay.
No distractions. No booty for miles.
No booty for miles. Okay.
Only man booty. Not
Uh,
not girl booty.
I think
Man booty.
I'm going to respectfully decline. Um, I don't even know. I don't know if I want to ask my wife about this, to be honest.
You should. Olivier, why you going to gym with other women? There's women at the gym. Why you doing that? You should only go to gym where there's all sausage.
Shan, um, what do
Why
you
you doing that?
what are your thoughts of a gym where men built this gym where it's just men and there's no women because they don't want distractions? What?
And they would rather spend time there.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. So there's two things my wife said. One, she said, oh my God. Okay. All right, thank you. So, one, my wife seen that the men who are building these gyms for just men and no women for no distractions. She thinks they're just having sex with each other.
Okay,
that's that's
so
one.
it's a DL club. Okay,
Yes, and secondly, she said she would dress like as a man and come in to watch.
she'd wear a mustache.
She would wear a mustache, do whatever she got. She would come in just to watch.
Okay,
Do what you want with that information. I don't know. Oh, she wants to be in the locker room because they'll do something freaky in the locker room.
tell her to just watch Heated Rivalry. Isn't that the entire plot?
You watch Heated Rivalry, right? You watch? Yeah, yeah, yeah. She watched Heated Rivalry.
So let's watch that.
Okay, all right. I, that you know what I've come to terms with. Maybe when I grow older, I'll become like Terry. In the sense of I'll hear some sort of new manosphere thing, and I
No, no, no.
deep.
But this is stupid. The other thing is actually based in like actual established problems that are in society. There is no in society established research. When men go to the gym and see a fatty, they lose. And when men go to the gym and see a fatty, their body fat count increases. Therefore, the abstract states they must create gyms only for those who have penises. That doesn't exist. That
I
doesn't exist.
I agree
The
with
other
you.
thing about men's value being tied to labor, there are books written on that. There's no
Yes.
books written on why I pump iron with meat.
What I think I'm
Do you
trying
see
to
the difference?
I do see the difference. What I'm trying to say is I think that for myself and Terry is that because we think about these things so much all the time that when we hear new information that feels or sounds ridiculously stupid, whether it's just you building a gym or academic, is literally cognitive dissonance, right? It's kind of like what dumb thing? No, no, that's stupid. Why would you? But then again, at some point, I was at a point where I didn't know. I didn't learn about these things, but because theoretically speaking, I've been thinking about it so much for so long, I automatically assume everybody else knows these things. And I think everyone has that similar issue. We automatically assume everyone else knows what I know. No, common
That is a
sense is
problem.
not common, and what is common is nonsense. Okay, that's what I've seen about this country.
It is a problem. But again, I will until not until, but especially at this point when we are not getting any funding, I am going to be extra critical of anyone who has a platform and has money and can do better. Until then, you are going to me. You will hear from me, Olivier, and 5.5 followers. Three are
Five and a half.
bots.
Five
You
and
will
a half.
hear from all of us saying do better, because again, with great power comes great responsibility. Okay, you got platform, you got money, you got clout. Like, you can do better. You can take 5 minutes to think about this. I forgot who it was. Oh no, I remember. Joshua, do you follow Doss Discourse, Joshua Doss?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I love him. Yeah, I love his stuff.
You saw what he said about the. Let's just close with this because it's somewhat related. You saw that there were two NBA players that like pretended they were women to register for the draft as trans, the WNBA draft as
Oh, I
trans
know. I know
people or
one
some
of them.
shit.
I know them. Enos Cantor. He used to be a Knicks player. I remember. Yeah, I remember one of them, or I heard about one of them.
Yeah, like there are so many levels of you not doing this before you actually go in front of all these people and fuck your career up and do it. Even if you believe this nonsense, there should have been one. It also shows me they don't got good friends. I'm sorry. There should have been one homie that said, "Hey, even if you think this way and I think this way, don't fucking do this."
What if?
Okay,
What if?
and then
What,
they all
what
did.
if? What if they do have the good homies? Right? What if they do have the good homies, and they're like, "Nah, man, I'm gonna do it because I truly believe in this thing."
I want to believe that they can. I want to believe. Like, what? what good comes from this? You're not even doing a sketch show. Okay, you're not even like joining some sketch show, and then we could say that it was an offensive sketch, but it was part of a show. Like, you're not even doing that. You are just doing this to use your platform to shit on trans people who are, like, again, 0.5% of the population, and trans athletes are like like 0.2, like the amount, there's like, we are talking about like 8 people. Okay,
Eight
all
people.
of this
We're talking about
all of
practice.
this nonsense
We're talking about
is
practice.
people who are both trans and athletes and athletic enough to get to this level. Anyway,
I,
Joshua Doss said, like, as men,
mhm.
like, you do understand, and I've said this too, like, there's a filter, like, there's a gap between when you think something,
Mhm.
right? There's like, you know how the FCC got like that 7 second delay when
Yeah.
people curse on network television?
Yeah.
So like that's like right here
Yeah.
for us as
Yeah.
men.
Yeah.
That's
Because
like this party is right here. It's located right here,
yeah. I
and
mean,
like
I was gonna say little fun fact for the
at this
FCC.
temple, yeah. So
No, so a
like,
little fun fact for the FCC was the reason why
yeah.
they had that because I believe there was like one guy who killed somebody on live TV and they couldn't stop it in time.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I think it was somewhere in Australia. I don't quote me. I think it's somewhere in Australia, but like, allegedly the guy like. Long story short, one man, unfortunately, like raped a daughter or raped a kid or raped a son. I forgot exactly. And the father was waiting for the alleged to go to court, and then just pop or something like that, or someone
All
has
right, I
killed
feel a
themselves on
little
live
less
TV.
bad now, but
One of
still,
those two. It's one of those two stories. It's either the father killed somebody or
that's
someone killed themselves on live TV, and they couldn't stop it.
that's
Everyone else saw it.
fucking wow.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm in favor of death penalty, but I'm just saying if there's got to be one blap blap, you
Hmm.
know. Anyway, um, so like use that space, that filter to think about it. Like, give it a moment, make coffee, put some in the microwave, maybe even sleep on it. I know it's crazy, but if it's that important, Chris Rock once said, "No one took money out the ATM at 3 a.m. for a good decision."
Oh.
Right? Like, it was never a good thing. And I kind of think that with, if you have to write something the second it comes to your mind and you can't wait like 15 minutes, I would say for most things, like, unless it's very imminent, like there's a storm happening right at this moment and like crazy shit's happening, but unless there's some, or you're watching a game and something's, it's like a play just happened, but if it's something that's in life and it's not going anywhere, in your life, in society, and it's not going anywhere tomorrow, maybe sleep on it. Because if it's that important, there's very few things that's that important. It must be put there now.
All right.
Most of those things that you don't have, that you must just fucking shit out to the world, most of those things end up not being good.
Okay.
All
So
right.
I just did a quick little research on the two men who wanted to play for the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
One guy's name is Royce White, a black Republican. He used to be an NBA player. I think he played for like a year. Yeah, he played for 1 year. Um, according to Wikipedia, and this is listen. This is I. The reason why I'm
Yeah.
laughing, the reason why I'm laughing because in the NBA, you need to fly because flying is just easier to travel. It's faster and easier to travel for the
Oh
team,
yeah.
right? Um, so Royce White has a anxiety disorder and he has a fear of flying. Part of your job is to be on a plane, and at least according to Wikipedia, they made an arrangement where he would take the bus.
Okay. I'm not shitting on anyone's anxieties. Flying
Neither am
anxiety is
I.
real.
Yes, it
It
is
is
real.
just, it is. it is just interesting that a man who has something that's very easy to be ostracized for in that profession, especially, is just so gung ho about shitting on other people who are just born different.
Yeah. Long story short, his NBA career just got disheveled and just didn't go very far, professionally,
Okay.
because of his fear of heights. He then went for like a couple little 10-day contracts with the NBA teams. Um, at least according to this, White's final NBA appearance came on March 26, 2014, in a 107-99 loss to the New York Knicks. So
Okay, and now he's a politician.
now he's a politician, as far as I understand,
Okay.
from Minnesota. He's born from Minnesota. I don't know where he's a politician. Da, 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 blah, 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 blah. He's a American political candidate. That's what he is.
Okay, I'm a fucking candidate. I mean, we can all be
I mean,
candidates, but
he's doing politics now. So
he's actually like announced the candidacy and is running for something.
yeah, he's a candidate. He's a candidate for the Republican nomination in the 2026 U.S. Senate election in Minnesota.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Well, again, a lot of other things you can do with your time. It sounds like you have other stuff to do anyway. Then pretend you're trans to, you know. I just
I I, I don't know.
this
Um,
is why like if Trump wants to put us in camps, we're going. Like, because we're just too, we get too distracted and fascinated with shit. Like, Trump can say, you're all going to camps, and we're going to put you all in camps because I like that idea, and I want to control you, and I want to be your Trump daddy dictator for the next fucking 5 centuries. And then everyone's like, wow, that really sucks. And then Trump makes a meme about trans people, and then half the population is distracted and hates trans people. And while they're distracted and hating trans people, they're getting arrested and thrown into camps. That just like we're fucked. We're fucked. We can easily hate anyone that's different over actual people with power.
Geez, man. I'm sorry. I got a little distracted. I was doing a little more. Got to almost into a deep hole about the two guys. So the second guy's Enes Kanter. Used to be near Knicks,
Anyway,
but yeah.
the point being, men, focus on yourselves and don't focus on people who tell you you need to be less involved with women to get women. Makes no sense.
Yeah, no.
Go to the gym, normal gyms. Okay, normal gyms, not
Don't
only men's gyms, because that
don't gawk. Don't stalk. Don't be weird. Don't be creepy.
don't stalk, don't be weird, don't hating trans people doesn't make you more not trans. I don't know who put that algebra equation for you, but it's wrong.
I,
Um,
listen, I can't read Arabic, so
doesn't work like
I
that.
wouldn't even know.
um, but yeah, go out and um, well, I'll save this for the next one. So for the next one, just some we'll continue with some actual positive advice, not just what not to do. But anyway, whatever it is, whatever you are, own it. Um, yeah, and go into spaces with confidence, and you don't need to shit on other people to do that. If that's the case, it sounds like you've run out of things to be confident about for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I was gonna add was I watched this one video of this guy. Just a little story for like the quote unquote nerds.
Hmm.
Uh, he long story short, he was talking about playing video games, and he was so adamant and very strongly and passionate about it. And there was two attractive women next to him, and he arguably looked like a stereotypical nerdy guy, right? And I'm going to paraphrase his quote. He's like, listen here, you little shit, right? You keep talking all this smack. 1v1 me in League of Legends, 1v1 me in Valorant, 1v1 me in Call of Duty, 1v1 me in Warfare, right? And I will beat your ass right there, right? But the way he was speaking about it, he was a gamer. He is a gamer, right? And after he was done, the girl was like,
Mhm.
I don't know, that was hot, right?
Okay. Well,
Right?
let's just say though, I just don't want guys to like see that, hear that, and then it doesn't happen, and they're like, "See."
Oh no! That's not what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is the fact that when you are so confident into who you are, into what you actually enjoy and actually like, other people will see you and be like, you know what? I don't fully understand why you like this game, but I like the fact that you like this game. I like seeing you in this element, in this confident, super, I don't know, super Olivier, super Evan S type of moment,
Yeah,
and that's a nice thing to see.
I think it can happen. I think what men should understand is you want to put the best version of yourself out there for the sake of better chances. You have a better chance of something like that happening if you come with that energy. But there's a big but. You can't just get all salty because it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Because there's a lot of guys out there who put their best foot forward. I know what it's like, and can be confident and can feel like they say and do, impressive things, and you're not gonna get noticed by women. That's just got to be part of the game. Okay, if you're a gamer, understand what's part of the game, right? In real life, the real life game, this is part of the game. Part of the game is that you don't always come away with results you want. Part of the game is that it's not always going to be noticed. Okay, we can talk in another pill about maybe ways to increase your chances of those things happening by going to places and doing activities and doing certain things that maybe make it easier to be noticed and can be good places to meet women, because I do want there to be like tangible advice. um, but anyway, uh, this was good, and we shall continue, and we'll do a BP, and you could see us for BP and chill this week, because we'll do our second BP and chill.
yep, sounds good.
All right, all right, good shit. Peace.
Peace.